Hello! Oh no, where am I? Where am I? I can't see myself. Ah! Jump scare. Hello, hello, hello. So, um, once again, I am here today to stream some more classic Sonic games. Although, this next game that we're playing doesn't quite fall into what you would call a classic title. This came out in 2010. This game was um, sort of a return to form for Sonic, if you will, around the time when Sonic wasn't doing too hot reception and you know reputation wise. I grabbed the '06 gem that turned you invisible. Yeah. um, some background with this game. As I do this with every stream. Uh, I remember being like, what, 10 years old when this game came out. I remember really liking it when I played it for the very first time. And then later replays, I just became less and less fond of the game. Um, but it's been years since I've played Sonic the Hedgehog for Episode 1 and Episode 2. So I'm excited to just, well, maybe excited is not the right term for it. I am ready to get into this. So before I start the game, I'm gonna do my usual plot narration like I did with the previous games. I if you've been in my past streams, the stories for each of the classic Sonic games are not only surprisingly extensive on the Japanese side of things, but they got more and more deep with like interesting bits of lore details and just some really interesting details all around. So, how does Sonic the Hedgehog 4 follow up on the epic grand finale that was Sonic 3 and Knuckles? I'm going to read the story right now. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is set shortly after the events of Sonic 3 and Knuckles and takes place before the events of Sonic Adventure. Ooh. After Sonic manages to destroy Dr. Eggman's space station, he decides it is time to take a much deserved break. After parting with his companions Tails and Knuckles, Sonic sets off to explore new territories alone. However, unbeknownst to him, his nemesis, Dr. Eggman, has survived their last encounter and has revisited and improved some of his very best robotic creations in another attempt to defeat Sonic. Sonic must travel through a variety of zones to defeat Dr. Eggman once again. Hmm. There was not much to this story this time, huh? I was expecting like some interesting details regarding like the setting of Sonic 4 or some interesting lore surrounding its setting, but like we don't even know where Sonic 4 even takes place in. Like it's not South Island, it's not West Side Island, it's not Angel Island, it's not Little Planet. We just don't know. So, maybe they're just being very secretive about the story of this game and they want to tell the story in the game itself. That probably is the case. So, without further ado, let's just start playing Sonic 4 Episode 1. Alright, let's do this. oh, wait, hold on. Oh, wait, it's captured. Okay. Uh, alright. Let's do this. By Sonic Team. Yeah. Hmm. This is certainly a title screen of all time. Alright. So let's see here. Options, leaderboards. I'm not into leaderboards. Let's just jump right in. Sadly, there's no multiple save files like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so, it's just a single save file adventure. I just remembered how Rayman Origins was going to be episodic at one point. Yeah, I know about that part. Like, it's kind of interesting looking at Rayman Origins in that light, like determining like how that game would have worked in an episodic format. But let's just jump right into Sonic 4 Episode 1. What is the opening cutscene gonna be like? Oh, okay, there's no cutscene. Okay, I already expected too much. Yeah, this is Sonic 4. Hello, Pixelated Smug. How are you doing? I am playing the game of all time, Sonic 4, and oh no. So what I just did there, I decided to roll downhill just because of instinct. Like, I'm so used to doing that in the classic games. But then I remember in Sonic 4, rolling slows you down in this game. Like, look at that. So, sad to say, there's no rolling physics in this game. It's actually faster to run than it is to roll in this game. So, that's a thing. Oh. Who needs rolling? Yeah. It's not like rolling is like the most important aspect of the classic Sonic games, am I right? Anyway, Splash Hill Zone. It's a zone. It certainly looks a lot like Green Hill. Yeah. Also, I can just do that. Sonic never skips leg day. Yeah. Like, he realized that at this point, like, rolling is overrated. He could just keep running. That was Act 1. Oh my god, this fucking sound font. Oh, look at that! It's a little pixel icon, just like in Sonic 1. Isn't that cool? Oh, speaking of Sonic 1, these special stages. Honestly, to be honest, I actually think these are better than the Sonic 1 special stages. I don't know. I think it's kind of neat you're controlling the stage itself this time. There's a bit. The design is a bit more intricate, I guess. So, yeah, these aren't bad. Just kind of a weird thing to follow up Sonic 3 special stages with. Like, this seems visually less impressive, to be honest. Okay. Okay. There we go. Just like that. And unlike Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you don't get special stages through the giant rings that Sonic 3 and Knuckles introduced. It's back to the Sonic 1 and it's back to the Sonic 1 method. Because sure. Bow, 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 bow. Ah, Jun Snowy. You are a fantastic musician, but you don't need to make music that sounds like this. I'm sorry.
A potato flew around my room before you came.
Thank you. I needed that. Ow. There's certainly a lot of springs in this level, I've noticed. Like, springs are always just like a thing in Sonic games, but here it's like, it's really prominent, I've noticed. Come on. Never mind. Whee! Also a lot of speed boosters as well. I don't know why there's a bunch of speed boosters in this tropical paradise, but okay. Where's ledge grabbing when you need it? Yeah. Wait. Oh, man! That's not cool. Ah, and now I don't have enough rings. Well, fortunately, this game does have the ability to does give you the ability to retry a stage, so that's cool, I suppose. Oh, what am I doing? So, one thing you may notice is that I'm not using the spin dash all that often, and that's mainly because, once again, there's no rolling physics, so, like, I don't really see much use for it. I mean, it does help if you're just, like, want to get a good burst of speed at the start, but at the same time, though, I feel like the homing attack is actually, like, a replacement for the spin dash in that regard. Like, you actually get a lot of speed that way. Spin dash? Yeah, like you crouch and do the spin dash just like that. You know, that's been the thing since Sonic 2, but I don't really see myself using it that often in this game, just because, again, there's no rolling physics. Hmm. I gotta say, like, Sonic has like this weird cell shading on him, and I'm not really a fan of it. It just looks kind of weird to me. Like, it's not necessarily the kind of cell shading that's meant to make the character look 2D or anything. It's just kind of like a weird style of rendering. I would have preferred if he was just rendered normally, you know. Anyway, more special stages. Okay. Uh. It's weird. Like, I think in other console versions, like, the cell shading actually is different depending on the console version, and I think in the Xbox 360 version, the cell shading is like really intense for some reason. Like, Sonic is so shiny in the Xbox version. Just odd choices. Ooh. And I believe like the mobile phone version of Sonic 4 uses the Rush model, I think? Either that or it's just like a low poly model for mobile devices. He looks much more naturally lit in the true version, or the mobile port. Yeah, actually, the mobile port has been updated to use the HD models, and it's rendered to be more like regular instead. So in a way, the mobile version is actually kind of the best looking version of Sonic 4, even if the way Sonic was rendered in the mobile port kind of looks weird to me, but I don't know. But speaking of the mobile port, Sonic 4 was released on mobile first, so that's mainly because this game... okay, actually, I think I'll save that for later, because there is a specific point in this game that I do want to bring it up. But yeah. I gotta say right now, like, Splash Hill Zone, not a very impressive first level when you compare it to Angel Island. Like, you know, Angel Island is like not only visually unique, but also it had like actual set pieces. But here, I mean, I'm just kind of playing through levels at this point, and it's like, that's fine, but I don't know why the game starts off that way. So what is this level? Okay. Boop, boop. Also, this game loves homing attack chains. Like the bubble enemies from Sonic 3 and Knuckles in Marmor Garden Zone, they're just everywhere in this game. Oop. Sonic's physics are just kind of weird in general. Like, he's very sluggish to get going, but like his spin dash like really gives him a huge burst of speed in a way that doesn't feel quite natural in my opinion. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, Sonic just doesn't have a really... Like, Sonic in this game just doesn't have a good defined sense of weight, I've noticed. He feels weirdly, like, sticky, I guess. But yeah, that was Act 3. Stuff happens. Look at those clouds. Took a sip of water. Ooh, less than 30 seconds, okay. Unfortunately, I can restart the special stages as well, so I'm gonna cheese that if things don't go my way. There we go. That sound effect is ripped straight out of Sonic Adventure. I mean, that's fine, it's a good sound. The rolling animation on Sonic just looks kind of weird to me. Like the way, like it is a 3D model, but it kind of looks like, it looks more like a PNG that's spinning than it is an actual 3D model, you know? Okay. Oh, this part's scary. Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay. That's 3 Chaos Emeralds. Woo! Bum ba da bum bum bum. Menu selection sound effects was ripped out of Heroes. Ah, I see. I actually really want to play Sonic Heroes. That's like the one 3D Sonic game that I haven't actually really played yet. Mainly because my GameCube copy is a scratch. But fortunately, Dolphin is there. Anyway, you guys remember this boss? There we go. What's up with the background? Like the way it scrolls like that. That looks weird. But anyway. Also, there's no act transitions in this game. It's just Sonic 1 and 2 and CD again. Heroes seems kind of mixed. I get the impression that a good chunk of people both like and dislike it. I do think, like, I did play a little bit of Heroes when it didn't crash, and the impression I get is that, like, I don't know, like, what I gathered is that, in a way, Sonic Heroes was kind of like the beginning of Sonic games becoming more mixed, because Sonic Heroes was sort of designed in a way to appeal to more than just Sonic fans. That's what Sega wanted, and that's always been kind of like a weird thing about the Sonic series, is that they don't seem to know whether they want to appeal to Sonic fans or just a different audience. Hence, like, the differing creative decisions and stuff. And, you know, Sonic 4 is very much designed to appeal to Sonic fans. Maybe not its absolute best, but, you know, it's an attempt. Let's see. Ow. God, why do they even have like these pinball courses if Sonic himself doesn't control like a pinball like in the classic games? Like, it kind of falls flat now. Also, this is just Casino Night Zone. Ow. Like, the 4 zones that are in this game are basically just a repackaging of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 stages, and you know, it doesn't have a strong identity as a result. Which again, it's very weird to do that for a sequel to Sonic 3. Also, I don't have enough rings, so I'm restarting. God, these physics. I do like this looking up animation right here. It's pretty cute and expressive. Ow. Oh, right. I keep forgetting. There's no rolling physics. Just keep running. Okay. I keep forgetting that like Sonic just stops on a dime midair. Like he doesn't like fly forward like this. If you're not holding the directional pad, he just doesn't move forward at all. So yeah, I gotta remember that. Muscle memory is already failing me. Okay. Whoop. There we go. I mean this as literally as I can. Thinkmania is canonically the fourth game of events, as I believe it takes place after 3K. Yeah, like, the events of Sonic 4 have not really been referenced overtly as far as I know. I mean, like what even happens in Sonic 4? Like you know, you may notice that there's no actual story that's actually occurring in this game, which I mean that could be said for like Sonic 1 and 2, but like at least like Sonic 3 and Knuckles had like actual cinematics. Like why does this game from 2010 not have anything related to story? Oh, okay. Uh Stop. Okay. Like, I honestly would not be surprised if, like, Sonic 4 is just not canon anymore. Like, they really just aren't interested in referencing this game anymore. Which, you know, fair. Uh... Oh, God. Okay. Ooh. There we go. Ooh, that's scary. Scary. Okay. At least 2010 was the same year we got Colors, my favorite game in the series. Yeah, at least we got Colors. Ooh! Ooh! Oh. Dang it. I didn't pause on time to restart the act. Oh well. We only have like, what, 8 more chances? Sure. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, I know one thing about this game is that the mobile version had like different stages, and I think this is one of them. Uh, I think one of the mobile stage for Casino Street is basically like a whole pinball course where you have to gather a bunch of points. uh, and that seems really gimmicky to me. So you know, I'm okay with it being removed. But this does lead into like a perfect opportunity to kind of talk about Sonic 4's origins. Um, if I could get like a good look at the background, if I can. Uh, let's see. Where is it located actually? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so if you look at the background, you see a Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel has something written on it. Well, first, let me go through this course. But yeah, if you look at the Ferris wheel in the background, you may notice that it has some writing on it, and it says Sonic the Portable. That is the name originally for Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1, because originally this game didn't really start as Sonic 4, it started off as a spin-off mobile Sonic game. But then this game basically turned into Sonic 4, and as far as I could tell, judging by the fact that, you know, they didn't even bother changing the name on the Ferris wheel, for all we know, Sonic 4 Episode 1 as is really not that different from what Sonic the Portable is. And when you consider, like, you know, everything in this game, from its rather flat, cheap-looking visual style to the different gameplay physics and, you know, just the general lack of ambition and scope that Sonic 3 and Knuckles has, it suddenly makes a lot more sense now. Like, why Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is the way that it is. And I will be remiss to point out that one of the... What was his name? Kevin Eva, I think? Yeah. He is... Kevin Eva is like a former community manager for Sega of Europe. And he did like a whole thread about, like, you know, the perception of Sonic and stuff. You know, it's a whole thread, but like there's one part where he dedicates some time to Sonic 4, and his words about Sonic 4 are like very damning. Basically, like, Sonic 4 started off as like an experiment to see if they can make an episodic Sonic game work, and then it graduated to becoming Sonic 4. And he, alongside all the other people that worked on this game, wanted the person that decided on the Sonic 4 name to be fired because they think it's a really stupid idea and it's really unfair to make this game Sonic 4. That didn't happen, and I think that really speaks volumes in a way, like the lack of faith, essentially, that people had with this project making it. Like, this game was always intended to be like a sort of simple pick up and play Sonic game on your phone, and then suddenly it's a Sonic 3 and Knuckles sequel, and we're playing it right now. um, such a peculiar moment in 2010, you know? I remember when this game was hyped so much, like the advertisements, the promotion. There was this whole thing where it's like, ooh, there we go. There was this whole thing where, like, before Sonic 4 was officially announced, there was like a website, I think, and they had like this whole thing where you count down the names of the characters throughout the series, and the last name to be saved is Sonic himself, as a commentary that this game only has you play as Sonic, and just Sonic. Even though, you know, by Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you had Tails and Knuckles to play as. And in retrospect, that comes across as very, like, I don't know how to say it. it comes across as kind of like spineless to me. Like it was a whole thing years ago when people were sick of Sonic's friends. They don't like the fact that there was so much emphasis on Sonic's friends and stuff. And Sega decided to do its whole promotional campaign where it's all about like getting rid of the names of these characters to emphasize the fact that this game is the true um, is a true return to form. And it's just like it feels regressive to me. Like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is as great as it is because it expands upon the scope of Sonic the Hedgehog. It added new characters, it made the world feel bigger, it raised the stakes to be even more grandiose. Like, Sonic, at the end of the day, has always been the kind of series that emphasize a lot on, like, set pieces and wide, large-scale threats. You know, Sonic is just the kind of series that, unlike, say, Mario, the stakes are high and the whole thing is treated with a level of like confidence, basically. And how they promoted Sonic 4 very much feels not confident to me at all. Um, One thing that they're certainly confident on is even willingly calling this game Sonic 4, you know? Like, that is such a bold thing to decide to do. Like, they see no problem with calling this game Sonic 4 at all. Anyway, the wonky physics allow me to do that. Ah, shoot. Let me try that again. There we go. So yeah, oh god. So yeah, I don't know. Like, Sonic 4, I still keep coming back to that name, the fact that this is Sonic 4. This is what they use that name on. And it's just generally considered like a somewhat unremarkable title at the end of the day. Like, I don't really see people really talk about Sonic 4 these days, and if they do, it's usually out of like spite or derision, and deservingly so, I suppose. Like, here's the thing. I am playing this game right now, and it's not bad. Like, it is certainly playable. It can be fun to play. I had a lot of fun with this game as a kid, before falling out of style with it. Like, as like a sort of 2D Sonic game that you play on your phone, it's serviceable. It gets the job done. But as a sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it's frankly embarrassing. So yeah. Whew! There we go. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Alright. What act is this? Oh, this is Act 3. Okay. We're just breezing through this game right now. Alright, whee! Oh, let me grab that. Okay, where am I supposed to go, actually? Oh. Ooh. Okay, where am I going? Uh, oh no. Uh, okay, I'm here. Uh, oh, that's scary. Oh wait, I go down here, do I? Yeah, no! Oh, there we go. Whew. I got the clear emerald. Dr. Eggman's party. Ooh, I hope it's a good party. Mmm, quite a party we're having. I want to point out that in Sonic 2, like this boss is just straight up recycled from Sonic 2. In Sonic 2, they actually have like a pretty nifty looking background for this boss fight, but in Sonic 4, there's just nothing. We just see a cityscape and that's it. Oh! I forgot about that. There we go. I wouldn't mind if Mania would be called Sonic 4, whether you like the game or not. It's easy to insinuate that a lot more passion was put into it than the 2010 release. Yeah, like, Sonic Mania, which I will be covering that game tomorrow, like, Sonic Mania, even though I have an issue with how the game just recycles stages from previous games, like, quality-wise, it is miles ahead of Sonic 4. Like, it is a much more worthy sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I wouldn't really say it's the ideal sequel, just because of, again, the stage rehashing, but, like, at least Sonic Mania is a very worthy follow-up that's, you know, generally really, really, really good, you know? Anyway, speaking of really, really, really good, this level isn't that. We all like Labyrinth Zone, right? Well, now we have Lost Labyrinth Zone. It's like Labyrinth Zone, but lost. Why is it lost? I don't know. What even is the purpose of these ruins? I don't know. I feel like this is like... It actually kind of... It's kind of baffling to me. I've said this before, but it's baffling to me that like Sonic 4 does not take place anywhere. Like, it doesn't really have a setting, does it? At least like a named setting. Like, that's something they've established since Sonic 1, that you're actually in a singular location that these levels take place in. But here, like, all these levels are just kind of here, and there's not much, like, I don't know, there's just not much of, like, coherency with these kind of levels, I guess. Like, because the physics are pretty much non-existent in this game, they have to rely on, like, gimmicks and a bunch of springs and speed boosters to get you by. And that results in a gameplay experience that feels a lot more homogeneous than the classic games. Like, a lot of the actions that you do feel a lot more binary and flat. It's just not good. The crystal bits from the actual Labyrinth Zone might actually look really pretty here. That's a good point, yeah. Like, to be honest though, I actually do like the background of Lost Labyrinth Zone, when you get to see it at least. I think it looks really pretty. In general, I'm not really a huge fan of how Sonic 4 Episode 1 looks. Like, I mean, it's kind of because of the fact that it is a mobile game initially, so it kind of has that look to it. But, you know, it just looks flat in a way that I find kind of distracting. Like, you could compare this visual style to, like, the new Super Mario Bros. Series, but, like, at least with new Super Mario Bros., like, they kind of embrace the sort of flat, cartoony look. The details here are meant to look a lot more, like, realistic and stuff, which doesn't sit right with me. Like, I don't know. I guess it could be compared more like it could be more like compared to Donkey Kong Country, I guess, with the level of detail. But I mean, I don't know. I think Donkey Kong Country is more atmospheric than this. The music is certainly not helping in the atmosphere, that's for sure. Wait, no! I didn't mean to do that! What are you doing that, Sonic? Oh my god. But yeah, look at this background. It's actually really cool. It kind of does look like concept art that they've just pasted into this game. But I don't know. It looks neat. Okay. Also, I believe, actually, I'm looking at the background right now. I think that is actually 3D. Huh. But yeah. There you go. The faces on the walls kind of look like Squidward to me. Ugh, sorry. I've been playing this level for 3 minutes? It doesn't really feel that way to me. Hmm. Anyway. Oh god, what is this? Oh no, this sucks. I don't like what is this. I wish these episodes would have stayed as a mobile exclusive series, that way we could have had a neat spin-off saga and hardly anyone may have been angry. Yeah, like as they are, it's just fine. Like these games are just fine, you know? It's just, it's not worthy of the Sonic 4 name. You know, imagine if like, Nintendo decided to call New Super Mario Bros. U Super Mario World 2, you know? Or Super Mario World 3. It's like, I don't know. Like even though New Super Mario Bros. U is actually like pretty good as a game, like I don't think it really earns that name. If I'm being honest, it's just like a weird thing with naming conventions. Like when you name a game a certain way, it creates a level of expectation, and you know Sonic 4 definitely doesn't live up to its namesake. Uh. Whee! I think I'm at the end, maybe? What am I doing? The best thing to have come out of this whole Sonic 4 situation is that it did lead to the release of Sonic CD's 2011 remake, basically, which in turn led to the recruitment of Christian Whitehead, who, alongside Headcanon, who I think handled the mobile versions of Sonic 1 and 2, would later on create Sonic Mania. So, in a weird way, the Sonic 4 saga has led the way to Sonic Mania. So, at least something great came out of Sonic 4, I suppose. That's like the weirdest thing about like the marketing for Sonic CD's 2011 remake. It's like it's described as like witness the true beginning of the Sonic 4 saga. Like that was in the trailers and stuff. The trailer for the remake is even styled like a Sonic 4 trailer, with the effects and stuff. And it's just kind of funny to me. Like I get why they advertise it like that because A, money, but also like, you know, Sonic 4 Episode 2 does have some Sonic CD tie-ins. A few, at least. But yeah. Like, the marketing is kind of confusing to me, though. Like, that kind of implies that, like, Sonic CD takes place after 3 and Knuckles. And, like, I mean, no it doesn't. Especially not now, but... Oop. Whee! Actually, let me backtrack for a bit. Go down here. Oh my god. maybe after Mania, you could stream Superstars. Oh, that's what I'm doing. Like, I've been doing a stream of all the 2D Sonic games in preparation for Sonic Superstars. Um, yeah, so this October 17th is when I'll finally, ooh, when I'll finally, oh my god, oh my god. Uh, Upon its release, I will be streaming Sonic Superstars. So yeah. But yeah, I've been doing a streaming marathon of all the 2D Sonic games. Tomorrow I will do Mania, and then the next day I will finally play Superstars. So yeah, that's my plan. World of Darkness. Oh yeah, this level. This level is kind of neat, I suppose. Like, I think it's kind of cute that Sonic is carrying a torch. I don't know. That's kind of cute. The level itself, though, meh. That's just kind of Sonic 4's MO, is like, if we can't have physics-based platforming that, physics-based platforming is a kind of style that has a lot of, like, nuance and fun, enriching gameplay, just because, obviously, that style is not played in the exact same way with how you approach it. But in Sonic 4, like, it's reliant on gimmicks like this to kind of make up for the fact that the gameplay is actually shallow. So yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with having, like, gimmicks for having gimmicky levels, I suppose, as long as the gimmicks are fun and they flow well with the actual gameplay. But it does become evident to me playing this game that, yeah, the gimmicks are just kind of there to cover up an inherent lack of depth. Also, I think this is another level that replaces a level from the mobile version. I think the mobile version was basically like an entire minecart level. Kind of like, oh, what was that? Kind of like Donkey Kong Country. I really like playing through games in timeline order, it's so satisfying to me, which is why it's so satisfying that Sonic Superstars will be played after Mania. Yeah, like Superstars, from what I could tell, very much is aiming to be like a Mania successor, if not in terms of story, then in terms of just the general like vibe, basically. Like, Superstars wouldn't really exist if it wasn't for Mania, so yeah. I have been keeping myself relatively unspoiled of Sonic Superstars. I have seen a bit of leaked gameplay here and there out of morbid curiosity. But I haven't seen too much of it to have a solid impression of the game, so yeah. I have listened to a lot of the leaked music in Sonic Superstars, and it's certainly a huge mixed bag, I would say. But hopefully. Oh, I hate this part right here. Then. Oh, come on. Okay, so let me do this. Do this first, and then this. Ah, no. Do this, then that. There we go. I will comment more on Superstars when I actually play it, so yeah. We're not in Superstars yet, we're playing Sonic 4. The reason why I'm even covering Sonic 4 at all in this marathon is because A, it's Sonic 4, I may as well cover it, and 2, like, Sonic Superstars is a 2.5D Sonic game, and that could definitely be compared to, say, Sonic 4 Episode 2, and I thought, may as well play that game to get, like, a reference point for, like, how well you can do 2.5D visuals, at least. So yeah. here. There we go. The compositions are not bad, honestly. Like, there are good songs in Sonic 4 in both Sonic 4s, but it's the instrumentation that just doesn't do it for me. Like, I get what they're going for. They want to go for like a modern update on the Genesis sound, but like the over-reliance of the Sonic 1 and 2 snare drum sound, as well as like this twangy synth line, I don't know. It kind of feels weird, gaudy to me. Like, it doesn't really sound like authentic Genesis music. It just sounds like a weird facsimile of Genesis music. Which, you know, that does fit Sonic 4 in a way, I suppose. Alright, I better have enough rings. Whee! I gotta remember to hold forward because... Oh no! Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Oh! There we go. If I overshoot, Sonic would just automatically walk off the stage, which is annoying. God, I have 46 lives now. It's so easy getting 1-ups in this game. Oh god, this is scary. This is really scary already. Ugh. Okay. Ooh. Oh wait, is it just... Okay. Okay, how many more rings do I need? 46? Oh my god. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Stop, please. Ooh. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, and I got all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Cool. I wasn't expecting that. What are your thoughts on how classic Sonic stage music and Generations handled tracks from the modern era? Did did the game just crash? Holy shit. Let me answer your question. I like the classic music in Sonic Generations. I think they sound good. It's a very nice, tasteful update on both the classic music as well as like a pretty cool style for like the original classic remixes. You know, Generation does a good job with that. So I actually remember. So I remember when Some Call Me Johnny re-reviewed Sonic 4, and there's like this one joke in his review that like the game just crashed when he got supersonic, and it happened to me too. So I guess this is kind of a common occurrence. That's amazing. But hey, this is actually a perfect opportunity to showcase the one aspect of Sonic 4 that's like kind of neat. It's the world map. Um, so yeah, like whenever you finish a stage, you either have the option to continue to the next one or just get transported to the world map. I believe the option to go to the next stage was added in after feedback, so which I think is a good call. I imagine it'll get kind of annoying if you're just constantly taken out of the stage like this. Um, okay, cool. But yeah, here's a weird thing about Sonic 4 though. Like, you can actually play any of the three acts in any order. You don't have to go from Act 1 to 2 to 3, or in any zones in a specific order. You basically have like a level of freedom, and I mean, I don't really have strong feelings about that. It is kind of weird that you just have this level of freedom, and I guess in some ways I just generally prefer a more linear structure because, obviously that allows the game's difficulty to progress more naturally, and there's more cohesion in terms of how things progress. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing. But yeah, now we have Supersonic, so should make things smooth sailing. Oh, I remember this part. Ow. Oh boy. Oh god, I forgot that they kind of butchered the drowning music in this game. Like, it's weirdly like... It just sounds awkward to me now. uh... The weirdest thing about this game's physics is that, like, you can actually get a lot of distance if you jump uphill, but it doesn't do it in a natural way. You just get an absurd amount of height like that in a way that feels weird. I don't know how to describe it. Oh, I forgot about this. These ones suck. This definitely feels like something out of a mobile game. Like, I imagine that you tilt your phone for those sections, but it's just in a console version, it's just awkward. Also, I keep subconsciously thinking that, like, when I jump, Sonic would just do that automatically. But no, like, when you're just jumping without holding a direction, he just stops on a dime. I have to, like, put my finger on the D-pad when that happens, and that's kind of annoying. Oh no! Oh yeah, and here's Supersonic! This is a pretty nifty thing, actually. I think Sonic 4 Episode 1 marks the first time that, like, Supersonic is playable in, like, 16 years. So, shoutouts to this game, I guess. You also like Johnny's running gag where he went, it's almost like this was originally meant to be a mobile game. Being able to select acts in any order is one of the points he said in the joke. Yeah, like that's a very like mobile game kind of decision. Like the fact that you could choose any stage you want with no real regard for like progression. My favorite comment that Johnny makes in that review is when bringing up the whole point about like Sonic the Portable becoming Sonic 4 Episode 1. I love the way he puts it, where he says that, it's almost like they decided to make a game, it's almost like they decided to turn it into a bigger project without actually turning it into a bigger project. Because, if you were to make this game into an actual big project, it wouldn't be like an episodic release, it would actually try to be like a full package. Also, this part sucks. There we go. Okay. It's kind of funny how Johnny's opinion on Sonic 4 changed, because way back in his SGB days, he gave Sonic 4 Episode 1 like an actually pretty decent score. I think he gave it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. And then nowadays, I think at his first Sonic 4 Episode 2 review, he admits that like the game just got worse as he played more of it. And then now in his re-review, he just doesn't really care for Sonic 4 Episode 1 anymore. It is interesting too because he did make animation for contests around the time of Sonic 4. So, okay. There we go. I can't believe it crashed like that. That's so funny. Trap-filled ruins. Hey, Eggman. How you doing? Come back here. Oh no! Boop. Alright, what do you have in store for me, Eggman? Oh. Ooh, there we go. God, what's up with like the invincibility frames? It's like weirdly inconsistent in these boss battles. You just can't bonk on them all willy-nilly. There we go. Next up is Mad Gear Zone. It's remarkable that like I'm at like an hour into the stream and I'm basically close to done with this game. Like last night I streamed Sonic 3 and Knuckles and that took me like 4 hours to go through because I was doing both Sonic's campaign and Knuckles' campaign. I was collecting all Chaos Emeralds with Sonic. I didn't for Knuckles, and that took me around 4 hours. This game is very short, which I mean it is an episodic release, but still. Mad Gear Zone. It's Metropolis Zone again. Yeah. Man. To be honest, I have felt kind of nothing when playing this game. Like, the only real emotion I get is when I'm just freaking out at the special stages. Because it really does feel like I'm just going through the motions at this point. This is random, but part of me hopes that Sega will try with the Boom games again. I really enjoyed the cartoon series. The universe has a bunch of potential. Yeah, like, I did play a little bit of Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. I really did not like the gameplay, so I just gave it to a buddy and that's it. But yeah, like, I never got the chance to watch the Sonic Boom cartoon on Cartoon Network. That was around a time when I was losing interest in cable, so I never really got the chance to, like, well, I just died. I never got the chance to really, like, sit down and watch the whole series. It's kind of weird to me though because like Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric had this kind of story going on that's meant to be kind of taken semi-seriously, and if I recall, like the cartoon really isn't like that. Oh, I saved myself there. Ah. Do, 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 do. Okay. Oh, I need to be careful there. I could have squished myself. Okay. Do, 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 do. Woo! There we go. Boo, 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 boo. Escape the cog trap. I do like that the acts have like their own subtitles. I think that's cool. Oh yeah, these gears. There you go. Random fun fact for those who don't know, in Sun and Colors you can unlock Supersonic, but they can't use Wisp. Makes me wonder what color transformations will look like as Supersonic. That, yeah, you know, I understand why he doesn't use Wisp, because it's like, you know, it's kind of the same logic as like why you can't use Elemental Shields in Sonic 3 and Chaos Supersonic. You know, it's just like, I don't know, I guess they just really want to make Supersonic his own individual thing, with no real overlap. Okay. I like that with the super form and this shield, it's like Supersonic is nuclear. But yeah, like Sonic Colors was also another game. I think Sonic Colors was the first 3D Sonic game to have you play as Supersonic in the levels, which is pretty cool. Whee! God, I love how much faster Supersonic makes the gears go. What is that design? Okay. Why was there a speed booster back there? Okay. Bow, 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 down. You hear that so much in this game. Impending doom. You once saw an animation where the werehog went super? Super werehog. Gosh. Look at the gears and their low frame rate. Anyway, this level's kinda neat, I suppose. That's all I could really say most positively about the gimmicks in this game. They're just kinda neat. What is this gimmick, though? What? Oh no. Okay. Ow. No! Oh well. Wait, you could just push against the wall like that? Okay. And... Oh. What was that? Okay. Go up. Ew. Whee. Okay. Oh. Oh no! Dang it. Okay. Whee! Oh, the wall is so nice to me. It's very patient. Whew. There we go. So what's the boss for this one again? Is it a repeat of Sonic 2 boss? Defeat the real Dr. Eggman. What? Has the Eggman we've been fighting a fake this whole time? Anyway. Ow. Also, I want to point out that there's not enough rings in these boss acts to turn you into a super form, so yeah, you can't choose these boss battles, unfortunately. Oh yeah, another weird quirk is that they decided to bring back the logic of if you get hit so many times, the rings go farther and farther away from you. In a way, it's sort of like penalizing you from, like, you know, taking too much damage. Which, I don't know. I'm okay with that, I guess. It just is. It just exists. Ow. There we go. Oh! Come on. Ah. Okay. Let's try this again. What am I doing? I think I'm getting complacent. Let me just focus. This music is not helping. This is just, I believe this is, yeah, this is a song, this is an unused boss theme from Sonic 3D Blast. And I guess June or whoever decided to bring it back for this game. I can tell you right now, I can see why it was unused. I like the fact that, like, I'm trying to remember. I think there was like a little detail where like they said that Eggman was running low on budget, and that's why he's using these past boss fights from the previous games, which is so funny to me if that's actually true. There we go. Ow. What was that? There we go. And that was Mad Gear Zone. It's certainly a level, like all the rest. Ugh. No, no worries. Don't apologize for that. I actually really appreciate any conversation in chat. No worries. Anyway, here's like the only cutscene in this game. Wow, look at that! It's Tails' rocket! How cool! Where is Tails, by the way? Final showdown in space in Egg Station. Anyway, Egg Station is just a boss rush. Like, that's really it. This is like the Sonic Advance. I remember like the first Sonic Advance even has like a boss rush, and I should note that like Dims made this game, and they're responsible for the Sonic Advance trilogy and the Sonic Rush duology, as well as like handheld versions of console Sonic games at the time. And it's like, this is such a downgrade from Sonic Advance. Like, they actually got like classic Sonic physics right with Sonic Advance. So what happened here? And I've seen some people say that the physics in this game are basically Sonic Rush. I mean, I could kind of see it, especially with like the jumps, maybe. But like, even Sonic Rush had rolling physics. And like, why is there just no rolling physics in this game? Like, I know that I commented on this before, but it's like, rolling in the classic Sonic games is like the most important aspect of the gameplay of those games. It's the thing that makes you go fast. It's a unique nuance to the gameplay that distinguishes it from other 2D platformers. Removing it just makes this game play more like a typical 2D platformer. It's such a baffling choice to just exclude a defining feature of Sonic's gameplay. Tails wasn't in episode 1 because he was busy filming a remaster of Sky Patrol. Damn. A fox gonna have hobbies, and sometimes they don't pan out. And you know, in this boss rush, we're just fighting this boss again, even though we just did it last stage. Like, great job, game. Oh, but now he's throwing spike balls. Oh, ow. Alright, that's the end of the boss rush. So what is the real cool final boss of Sonic 4 Episode 1? And we are gonna play Episode 2 shortly after, so sit tight. Whee! There we go. Oh yeah, this boss again. It'd be cool if Knuckles got his own spin-off games like Tails. Yeah. Knuckles Chaotix was kind of that, but it was more of a Chaotix game, if anything. But you know, like, I haven't played much of Tails Adventure, but I think it's very charming. Like, I like Tails Adventure. Alright, let's get this rolling. Whew. This is actually pretty neat, though, as a boss fight. This second phase. Where is it? Oh, come on! Those Sonic 1 and 2 snares. It would have been cool if this Death Egg robot looked how it did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where it had like a more mechanical looking head. Because, you know, it would actually be like some cool continuity at least. Alright. I'm just about done with this game. Ooh. Ow. Oh, I think this is it. Or not. Oh, here we go. And that's Sonic 4 Episode 1. Oh, finally. I like to imagine that video game worlds follow Wreck-It Ralph type logic, where the games are jobs slash films, and the characters just doing their thing. Funny considering Sonic is part of Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah. This game is basically like, Sonic has to do a 9 to 5 job. That's basically this game. If you collect all the rings at that little sequence, Sonic would turn into Super Sonic. But I guess I didn't. I didn't get the true ending. Anyway, that was Sonic 4 Episode 1. Final thoughts. Hmm. When I replayed all the classic games for this marathon, I found I say that I find more appreciation for the games. You know, like I had more appreciation for Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Like those are games that I already like, and I consider them great, good games. But you know, like replaying them, I start to learn to show more appreciation for them, like what they're doing, their artistic goals, and all that. You know, I think they're solid games. Um, this game is that wine commercial Orson Welles did near the end of his life, where it was openly, visibly miserable. That's a very good analogy. Hello, Just Andre92. How you doing? I recognize you from Alter server. I hope you're having a good time. I just got done playing episode 1 of Sonic 4, and I'm gonna play Sonic 4 episode 2 next, this stream. You gotta go, see you later. Yeah, thank you so much for coming over. I greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. But yeah, to kind of share my thoughts on Sonic 4 episode 1, I'm glad I caught the end at least. Yeah, this game, boy, this is Sonic 4 Episode 1 when I first played it, when it released, when I was like 10 years old. I remember liking this quite a bit actually, but replaying it now, like, it honestly has gotten worse for me now that I've actually replayed this game. Like, this game really is, like, it really feels like you're just going through the motions in this game. The physics are basically not here, and that results in level design that feels a lot more homogeneous and more gimmicky to make up for the fact that the physics gameplay is just not there. The presentation is subpar, you know, it looks kind of cheap. Definitely not the kind of aesthetic that I would like to see in a proper Sonic 3 and Knuckles sequel. The music has good compositions, but I just don't care for the instrumentation. And in general, this game is just like creatively bankrupt. Like, it recycles a bunch of ideas from the classic games without really doing anything interesting with them, and on top of that, it makes them worse by virtue of the gameplay being worse. And, you know, on its own merits, it's a passable mobile game platformer. You know, it's fine enough to play, it can be enjoyable, but as like a sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it's frankly embarrassing, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Uh, but yeah, Here's Sonic. That running animation, though. Hi, Eggman. What are you laughing me? What are you laughing me at? Oh, ooh. Oh, I know that character. To be continued. Sweet. Okay. So now I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna get started. Playing Sonic 4 Episode 2. Uh, I got an achievement for defeating the final boss and viewing the ending. So wait, if I don't view the ending, I just don't get that achievement? Damn, that sucks. But yeah, goodbye Sonic 4 Episode 1. You certainly exist. And now, let's jump right in to Episode 2, the second and final installment of the Sonic 4 saga. Capture window. There we go. I was thinking of taking a break, but then I realized, nah, I just want to get this game done and over with. Alright, time for Sonic 4 Episode 2. Uh, this this title screen music is somehow like more annoying to me. Eh. But anyway, uh, so now we have Miles Tails per hour in this game, and that's pretty cool. But sadly, you can't play as him alone. You can only play as him in a multiplayer, which is baffling. Like even Sonic 2 allows you to play as Tails. Strange. A new frontier? Frontier? Oh! But hey, look at this. We have like an actual opening cutscene now. It's just like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Maybe this game won't be that bad after all. Oh, cool. I thought I literally only tuned in to the end of the stream. Nah, I'm doing both episodes for this stream. But yeah, welcome to Sonic 4 Episode 2. Right off the bat, the game looks much better than Episode 1. I think this game visually holds up really nicely. It's very good. So, yeah. I remember liking this one a little more than Episode 1, and I imagine that will be the same case, playing it again. One thing is for certain though, there's still a lot of springs and automation like that. Ah, rolling is still not there though. How sad. Oh yeah, ooh. This game has red rings, and I don't think I'm gonna go for all the red rings because they literally do nothing in this game. There's only one red ring per act though, so it's not like it's too much of a commitment to get them. Whee! Anyway, Sylvanian Castle Zone is actually a pretty cool first level for a Sonic game. It's basically like a mixture of Aquatic Ruin and Marble Garden. The levels are basically like that. They're like a fusion of previous level themes. And I think that's fine. I think that's actually a cool way of, you know, recycling ideas while doing something a little fresh with it. It works. But speaking of recycling ideas, we get this kind of special stage again. I like this one a lot more than Episode 1, even if it still doesn't ultimately measure up to Dim's past work on Sonic Advance. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I don't think the game is like a lot better, but I do actually like this game to an extent. Like, I don't know, it works. It's a solid enough game. I'll definitely play this over Episode 1 any day. Oh yeah, I forgot they can sprint. But yeah, we're back to the half pipe stages. Though it's not really a half pipe, more of a quarter pipe. uh, but to be fair though, I do think these are better than the Sonic 2 special stages. They're pretty fun, actually. There we go. Alright. You know, playing Sonic 4 Episode 2 now, like... so for context, Andre, I've been playing through all the classic Sonic games in preparation for the release of Sonic Superstars. So, this is basically... I did Sonic 1 and 2 for the first stream, Sonic CD for the second, Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the third, and now I'm doing this for the fourth. And then next stream, I'm gonna do Sonic Mania. But yeah, like, playing Sonic 4 Episode 2 now, like... It's gonna be interesting comparing how this game looks compared to Sonic Superstars, considering both games are going for that similar 2.5D style. So, it's gonna be interesting to compare, basically. Whee! I will say this right now, though, and maybe it's a bit too soon to say right now, considering that Sonic Superstars hasn't come out yet, and I haven't played the game yet. But if I'm being honest with it right now, I actually think Sonic 4 Episode 2 looks better than Sonic Superstars, visually speaking. I don't know. Like, when I've been looking up gameplay of Sonic Superstars, I don't think Superstars looks bad by any means, but I feel like there's, like, a layer of polish missing, and I'm looking at Sonic 4 Episode 2 right now, and I'm just thinking, like, damn, this game looks good. So, I don't know. Then again, I'm just looking at gameplay on YouTube. Maybe I'll think differently when I actually play it on my laptop, but that's just how I'm feeling right now. I feel like this game actually looks a little better than Superstars. Oop. Whee! Ow! I keep forgetting it's X. I forgot to bring this up, but this game touts this new mechanic where you could do like 3 moves with Sonic and Tails. Which is neat, I suppose. Even if it's basically like... It's kind of a diet version of like the teamwork mechanics in Sonic Advance 3. But, you know, it does give the game somewhat of an identity, I suppose. Whoop. I'm not taking that. Not really a fan of, like, the delay that happens when you use the ability. I think that's unnecessary. Look at those God Rays, though. Very pretty. Sonic does feel better to control in this game, for sure. It's still not like the classic games at all, but I can at least say that I think it feels nice for what it is. Alright, second special stage. There we go. One thing I would say in Superstar's favor is that they really seem to nail the task of translating Sonic's original design to a 3D model, something I really don't think they managed with Generations and Forces. Oh, I agree. Like, the way classic Sonic looks in that game and the animations are very solid. They really nailed that part. You know, I think that's like the best thing Superstars has over Sonic 4 in general, is that like it managed to capture like the feel of the classic games better than what they did with Sonic 4. Do I have enough rings? Okay, I do. Cool. Whee! There we go. These Chaos Emeralds are so big in this game. They're almost like Super Emeralds at this point. I do like how the UI looks in this game more than Episode 1. Like, looking at Episode 1's UI, it just kind of looks like a mobile game to me. But the UI in this game is like very cool and fancy looking. Like, this looks way better. Like, the title cards look way better than Sonic 4 Episode 1's, which are basically just Sonic 2's. Oh, this looks so pretty, actually. Oh yeah, we get this move. This move is pretty fun to use. It would be even more fun if it had like actual physics, I feel. Because it is kind of like a scripted ability. Like, you know, it doesn't have much weight, sadly. But it's still pretty fun to use. Ooh. I'm just kind of strolling by. There we go. They also, like, toned down the gimmicks in this game. You know, Sonic 4 Episode 1 had a lot of focus on gimmicks, but this one tones it down and makes it feel more like traditional platforming, which I do appreciate. Oh. Oh, okay, never mind. Whee! Oh, can I make it? Yes, I can. Cool. No! Ah, dang it. And I can't jump into that ring because it's scripted. Ah. Oh well. I have more chances. Oh, I forgot that they used this song for all Eggman boss fights. It's just immediately this, which is just great. Hey Eggman, you look a lot better this time. Also, they now have enough rings so that you can go into a super form. So that's cool. Oh, I recognize this. But I don't recognize that. That's pretty cheeky. So, the Eggman bosses in Sonic 4 Episode 2, to be honest, I don't really like them all that much. They're definitely a lot more creative than the ones in Episode 1, you know? Like, the design of this robot is pretty cool. Unfortunately, like, these bosses have an issue of just having a lot of meandering around. Like, there's a lot of downtime, and it's just not really that good. The Metal Sonic boss fights are a little better, though. Alright. Come on. Oh. Mhm. Ow. I honestly don't see how a Super Form would really benefit this boss fight, unless Super Sonic can really jump that high. Otherwise, you're just gonna run out a lot of rings at that point, and just make the boss fight harder. Uh. There we go. Like that animation. Do, 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 do. That sound haunts my dreams now. White Park. Oh, I forgot how pretty this looks. Aw, man. Oh well. Boom, boom, boom. Whew. Oh, polar bear! Okay. There we go. Boing. Whee! I just have this conscious desire to roll whatever I can, but then I keep forgetting that, right? I can't speed up I can't speed up when rolling in this game. And it's weird because there's like this one moment in Sylvanian Castle Act 2 where you're like rolling down a hill, and it's like a moment where the game is like, see, you can roll down a hill to gain speed, but then like it's never really utilized effectively. And honestly, like, I don't know, it just doesn't really, it still doesn't really fit. It still doesn't really capture how the classic games really feel. So, yeah. There we go. Ooh. Hold on. There we go. I think the trees in the background are like 2D textures, they're not actual geometry. Which, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but, you know, I just noticed. Oh, and now we have a full pipe. There we go. Do, 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 do. Oh, I missed one. Shoot. But that should still be enough, though, right? Yes. Get 300 rings. That should be no problem. There we go. Nice. Sonic Coaster Rails. Is that a name of a theme park attraction? It's like, yeah, rolling technically works in this game, but it doesn't give you like a huge burst of speed, so I don't really use it. Alright. Oh, thank goodness. This is a pretty cool zone, though. Just riding on these coaster tracks. There isn't much to say about this one, though, so it's still kind of neat, though. There we go. Oh. Okay. And there we go. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Okay. Nice. Cool. Alright. 350. Ah, dang it. That's 350 though, right? Okay, cool. Oh yeah, this level, I'm not really a fan of this one. Labyrinth at absolute zero. Okay. It is nice to have like actual swimming here. One thing that's kind of weird though is that like they have these signs that constantly tell you like where to go, and it's like, oh, dang it. They have these signs telling you exactly what to use, and it's like, I don't think that's really necessary, honestly. Uh, in a way, it's like the levels are very much more designed around like these team up abilities, since you know, like this whole level takes place underwater, and you're basically just using this ability a bunch, and it's like, you know, it's different from how Sonic 4 Episode 1 just have like one-off gimmicks for the most part. Dang it. Boop, boop. Do, do, do. All right. Ooh. Okay. Almost lost rings there. I will say that White Park does not really take full advantage of the fact that it is like an amusement park. Like, There should be at least like bumpers and stuff. Like this could have been like this game's casino night or casino street, but I don't know. It's kind of bare bones in that regard. Uh. Oh. Oh no, Tails! I need you, buddy. Oh god, these spikes. There we go. Look at that mustard yellow background. uh. Okay. Wow, this part has been going on for quite a while, actually. But it should be enough though, right? Yes. 200 rings. This background looks like the inside of a suit jacket you're not meant to see. Yeah. I like that analogy. Okay, wait, I already got 300 rings, so I'm basically good now, right? Okay then, sure. That is a weird special stage. Alright. Time for the boss. And this boss is actually something a little special. Meow, 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 meow. It's Metal Sonic! Also, is that little planet in the background? Wow, Sonic CD truly was the beginning of the Sonic 4 saga, as the trailer said. Ow. This is actually like a pretty cool boss fight. all things considered. Ooh. Alright, dang it. Like, look at the fun stuff that's happening in the background. I wish I, like, interact with that in the actual levels. Ooh. And we're done. Awesome. Do, 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 do. The next zone is Oil Desert. Yeah, I remember this one. Now, I'm one of those people that actually likes this song. The first act of Oil Desert, at least. Like, even disregarding, like, the questionable instrumentation that I don't really care for, I think it sounds very unique, honestly. I always like the vibe of this track. And I think Jun Sonoy once said that this is actually his favorite song in Sonic 4. Don't quote me on that, though. It's been years since I've seen that info. Ow. Yeah, once again, to give some credit to Sonic 4 Episode 2, like, not only does it look very good for what it is, but also, like, the zones themselves do manage to feel, like, pretty distinct, even when they're using previous ideas. Like, it's this level is basically like Oil Ocean, but if it takes place in a desert. And aesthetically, I think it does quite a bit more than that to stand out. So, it works. I like it. Ooh, okay. Cool. Oh boy, this part. Oh, I screwed myself there. No. Oh, there we go. Just enough. There. I'm not running in full speed just to make sure I don't lock myself out of a special ring. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Do-do-do-do. There we go. Oh, dang it, I missed that. I'm actually... So, the thing is, I haven't actually been paying attention to, like, the amount of rings I need to get per phase, so I'm a little cautious about this one, so... 150 rings. That should be enough. Yeah, okay. 450. Alright. Ah, dang it. Hmm. Okay. Ah, that's not enough. Do, 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 do. There we go. Alright. Nice! And I should be in the clear now. Yeah. The green. Alright, one more emerald, and we should be super once again. Oh, this background music. There we go. Oh, I just noticed this thing. Yeah, this is a thing you could do. Just like that. It's a thing. Aw. Okay. Oh, that's it? Alright. That was shorter than expected. Whew. Last stage. 120? Okay. Ah, dang it. Next, 350. Okay. Oh. Whee! That was fun. What is Sonic doing, like communicating that to Tails? Ah, dang it. Oh, I jumped over that? Okay. Oh, dang it. Oh, good. I'm lucky. But yeah, last emerald. Oh yeah. Collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds. I got the achievement. Woo! Celebration! And if I recall correctly, like, I think they said that the physics for Supersonic are unchanged from Sonic 4 Episode 1, which is interesting. Let me see for myself. Oh, look at that oil. Oh yeah, this does feel like Sonic 4 Episode 1. Oh, and every time you use the combo ability, it just refers you back to normal Sonic. Okay. Look at that background, though. It's very cool. Like the scrolling clouds there. It's so cool, actually. Oh. Sonic's ability to maintain his super form is disrupted by the indignity he feels at having to rely on Tails for help. Yeah. You know, it's like getting crushed as Supersonic isn't humiliating enough. This is the straw that broke the camel's back for Sonic. A giant born of scrap metal. Let me collect these rings. I miss those two. Miss those three. Hey, good man. This is a cool design. Whew. There we go. Boo, boo, doo, doo. The tornado takes off. Hmm. All right. Woo. Remember Sky Chase from Sonic 2? Well, here it is again. Ah, shoot. I just think it's funny that, like, Sonic 2 it has Sky Chase and Wing Fortress, and for this zone they decided let's just have a Sky Fortress. Gotta be careful not going too fast, because I do think Super Sonic is fast enough to fell off the tornado. Rouge isn't in this game, so they are prohibited from having Wing Chase. Yeah. Uh... Wing Chase does kind of sound cool as a Sonic Zone name, actually. Alright. There's so many rings. Ooh. Okay. That got me nervous for a moment. Out of all the optional collectibles to introduce during the Xbox 360 years, red rings were certainly an interesting choice. Yeah, that's a good point. Red rings have basically become like whenever there's like a specific kind of collectible you collect in a Sonic game, it's gotta be red rings. It's the Sonic equivalent of start coins at this point. And I'm not complaining, they're nifty. Sonic just looks up like that. I always like how supersonic animations always depict Sonic as being like more serious and less jokey. Just the fact that like instead of having like kind of a goofy little expression on his face when looking up at Supersonic, he just looks up. Anyway, that was like a 4-minute set piece. Jeez. Saving. Infiltrating the Sky Fortress. These yellow platforms always make me think of Cubot. They were like moving yellow cubes in White Park, and I just keep thinking those are just giant, lifeless Cubots. Anyway, Sky Fortress. It's basically Wing Fortress and Flying Battery combined together, and it's very yellow. Oh no! Oh! I wasn't holding my D-pad. I wasn't holding my D-pad there for a moment. Okay. Ooh! Okay, let me save myself there. Ooh. I went too crazy with power. Whew. I had water in my mouth, so. Alright. I remember this level looking really pretty. The sunset. Mile High Mayhem. Yeah, look at this. I'm getting Death Egg flashbacks with these tractor beams. Though not as showy as last time. I have to homing attack it? Okay. Whee! Oh, this is very much Death Egg now. Hmm. Oh! Dang it. That wasn't smart. But maybe this is... Ah, no. Let me keep trying and see if I can make a good route with this. Ah, dang it. But look at that mountain. Look at the sky and the mountains in the background. Like, that's really cool. Really pretty. And it's not like this game has like... I need to stop dying. It's not even like the game has like the most impressive graphics ever, but like I think the art design overall is actually like very solid in this game. Oh no! It's kind of funny that like the death plane is not even at the very bottom of the stage, it's just midway through. It's like Sonic dies from oxygen deprivation somehow. No! Why am I dying so much in this part? Ooh. And I like the fact... Are you serious? I think it's also kind of funny that they decided to bring back these falling pit signs from Sonic Generations, like, as if it wasn't obvious enough. Whoop. There we go. Ow. Oh, no, 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 no. Ooh, there we go. Get on the Cubot platform. Oh. Whee! There we go. This should be like another Metal Sonic fight, yeah. We're so close to the end of the game. Huh. Showdown in the skies. Oh, I love this background. Ow. Oh, there we go. Did they get 2 hits in? It sounds like it. Whew. Oh, and that's the end of the boss fight. Okay. Whee! And just like that, Sky Fortress is done. It's actually a pretty good penultimate zone for this game. And like, funny enough, like, this is like the only zone where you have to actually unlock it by playing the other zones. Unlike Sonic 4 Episode 1, where you can actually freely choose all 4 zones if you want. So, you know, this clearly has a level of importance, so I think that's cool. Look at Eggman there. That Sonic 1-2 snare is popping off right now. Pop, 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 pop. Man. It's like the twangy synth is one thing, but once I start noticing how often the soundtrack uses the Sonic 1 and 2 snare, it's like, oh my god, it's like the Saint Anger snare of Sonic music at this point. It's just always in your face. Anyway, this is pretty cool, actually. A big point of storytelling here is that Eggman has taken over Little Planet again and has turned it into a new Death Egg, which is actually a pretty cool idea. Like, the level itself isn't anything to write home about, but it's like, I really like the idea of Little Planet turning into another Death Egg. That's actually like pretty novel, I say. Okay. Whee! Some really funky gravity stuff, even more so than Death Egg originally did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Anyway, there's like an actual mini boss fight here. That's another thing that Sonic 4 is missing from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, mini bosses. Just like that. Okay, Metal Sonic. Let me save up my rings for the rematch. Ooh. And the stage also looks really cool too. It managed to be like, it managed to look pretty distinct from the original Death Egg, which I do appreciate. It actually does kind of give me like Sonic Advance vibes in its aesthetics. Like it's almost like Egg Rocket or Egg Utopia Zone in a way. I'm sorry. Hold on. Allow. Yeah, I gotta add that word in the auto mod. Thank you, Andre. Superstars will climax with Eggman tricking Sonic into trapping himself in his curled up position, allowing Eggman to turn him into a third Death Egg. Oh, that's amazing. Oh my god, what's going on here? Whoa. That got really screwy there. Oh my god. That's a really funny visual. Wait, why does it keep doing that? Oh my god, that's wonky. Time for a rematch. Sorry, Metal Sonic. God, that was pathetic, honestly. Oh wait, I can actually like add a permitted term in the chat? Sure, I guess I'll do that right now. Add permitted term climax. Oh. Oh, never mind. Ah, that didn't work. Ah. Anyway. Time for the finale. The grand finale of the Sonic 4 saga. The saga that apparently started with Sonic CD, according to the trailers of the Sonic CD remaster. It's all been building up to this moment. A heart. Bow, 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 bow. There we go. This final boss fight is fine, I suppose. Oh no. You know what? No. I want to be supersonic in this final boss fight. There isn't a proper supersonic boss fight here, so... Let me turn into a ball. Whee! I can't stop! Okay. There we go. Phew. There we go. I say of the Eggman boss fights, this is the best one by virtue of it not wasting too much time. It's still not like great though, so. Ah. There we go. And just like that, we have completed the Sonic 4 saga. With one loose end, I would have to take care of first. I forgot about episode metal, which I'll do that shortly after. But yeah, we're basically like done with Sonic 4 episode 2. Now what is this amazing ending cutscene here? And that was Sonic 4 Episode 2. Overall, I think it's certainly a better game than Episode 1. I did have fun with this game. Uh, it still doesn't really measure up to the classic installments. It still has the same issues of, the physics are off, the level design is kind of one note, uh, the music is kind of questionable sound-wise, and overall, it's still missing stuff that Sonic 3 and Knuckles built up, and it definitely, I don't really think it earns the title of Sonic 4. But with that said, I do have things to appreciate about Episode 2 in particular. Like, it does look very nice. Like, visually, it's a very good looking game. Like, even if it's not like Generations level, it's overall very polished looking game. It's very good. And, it does feel better to play. The levels are a bit more focused and a little less gimmicky than Episode 1. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's a better Episode 1. I wouldn't say it's like great or good even, but it's enjoyable. I didn't re- I didn't I'm not like the game didn't annoy me basically. Like, it's perfectly solid for what it is. Like, if Episode 1 is like a 5 out of 10, I think a 6 out of 10 is just fine for Sonic 4 Episode 2. It's inoffensive, and has some cool things about it. Now, as for this kind of ending for Sonic 4, this is really lame. Like, we've defeated Eggman and all that, but Little Planet is still trapped in the Death Egg. And considering that Sonic 4 Episode 3 is effectively cancelled, and this is the real ending of Sonic 4, yeah, this is really... It's both underwhelming and just kind of unfortunate. Like, poor Little Planet is still stuck in the Death Egg Mark II to this very day. What a sad world we live in. But yeah. I don't know if I like Sonic 4 Episode 2's music more than Episode 1. It still has a problem with instrumentation, and in some ways I think it sounds even twangier than Episode 1, which, I don't think that's a great thing. But yeah, you see that Death Egg Mark II is shut down, and I guess it's all good in the end, anyway? Or rather, what a sad world we don't live in because it's trapped in its Death Egg. Yeah, that is true. But anyway, is there a way to access Episode Metal? Yes! Okay. Lock-on system engaged. Thanks for unlocking Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1. I didn't unlock Sonic 4 Episode 1. I bought it with my own money. But yeah, time for Episode Metal. Gotta tie up all loose ends. I like that the Stardust Speedway background here is basically like they just took a screenshot of Stardust Speedway from Sonic Generations and put it here. Like, good job, guys. And, some Call Me Johnny pointed this out in his review, but look at Eggman in this cutscene. He looks burnt. Like, for some reason, the way Eggman is rendered in Episode Metal, he's, like, sort of darkened for some reason. Like, he's been burnt. All those failures with Sonic has really caught up to him. And we get this nice, twangy Sonic 4 rendition of You Can Do Anything. God, it really just highlights how weird of a choice it is for Sonic 4's music to sound like this, because, like, Sonic's CD clearly doesn't sound like this. Oh no, I'm gonna go through a bunch of notifications. Oh. The Death Egg Mark II looks really cool here, honestly. Also, I just realized something. Like, the zones in Episode 2, when you think about it, the zones in Sonic 4 Episode 2 kind of reflect the unused levels in Sonic 2. Like, you know, there was like a wood zone, there was like both a winter and desert level. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but I've noticed that. It's funny, you have a grass, winter, and desert, so you get like some pretty nicely contrasting locations there. But yeah, this is Episode Metal, just shamelessly reused from Episode 1's map, in this unnamed Sonic 4 island. I remember looking up, out of curiosity, I decided to look up, like, what is the name of the Sonic 4 island? And apparently it was kind of like a weird thing where Sonic Retro decided to do a joke, and they call this world Mirage Island, which, honestly, Mirage Island is kind of cool. But think for a moment. Like, these maps are connected. This is Episode 2's map. Imagine what is beyond the right of this map, you know? What could have been Episode 3's map. But anyway, enough stalling. Let's just wrap up loose ends here. These cutscenes are pretty neat, though. Yeah, seriously, Eggman, why do you look so burnt? God, it's so weird going from Episode 2's graphics and then immediately back to Episode 1's very cheap looking aesthetic. Anyway, Episode Metal. It's just 4 levels from Sonic 4 Episode 1 with minor edits, like more enemies and stuff. That's really it. The thing to note, though, is that it is actually using the Episode 2 physics for Episode Metal, so, you know, it does feel a little nicer to play than Sonic 4 Episode 1, I guess. But yeah. And there's nothing unique about Metal Sonic, he's just Sonic, but with different animations, model, and sound effects. Ah, shoot. Whee! You know, it's saying something that, like, I've literally just played Sonic 4 Episode 1, and I don't really remember the layouts of this level. Like, ooh. Like, is this actually all new content, or is it based on a previous level? I'm not entirely sure. Ooh! I almost got crushed. There we go. What's next? The altar's hidden treasure. Ooh, I wonder what that could be. I wonder what that could be. Ooh. I do think it's kind of cool how, like, they decided, you know what, let's have a story where, like, Metal Sonic actually came back from from a little planet. Because that's, like, not something I really thought about before. Like, I always just assumed that, like, you know, Metal Sonic was just kind of rebuilt out of Little Big, out of, I almost said Little Big Planet, out of Little Planet, but like they decided to like connect to CD by having him like licking his wounds after that game, which again, it's pretty cool. Like that's honestly like the coolest things in Sonic 4 Episode 2 when it decides to like connect back to Sonic CD for its own ideas, and I don't know, it's actually like genuinely kind of cool what they did. It's just kind of a shame then that it's still like Sonic 4. Ow. Anyway, this treasure better be good if I'm just playing through most of the same content again. I will say this though, I'm glad that the levels they're using are not like the gimmicky ones. Ugh. Ah. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh. I don't care. I think this is actually my favorite song in Sonic 4 in general. Like, I think it's the only song where I really don't mind the instrumentation of it, and I think it's actually quite like nice and sort of atmospheric. Anyway. Alright. What do we have here? Ooh. What is this? It's a purple thing. A magenta thing. Is that the Phantom Ruby? Well, whatever it is, we just absorbed it. And that's what makes Metal Sonic purple. So after our victory, where do we go next? We just go straight to gambling. Honestly, Metal Sonic earns it. Like, getting a hidden treasure, I imagine that, like, you know, that treasure is probably worth a lot. Maybe he could get big winnings with that in a casino. I think out of all the songs in Sonic 4, this is the one song that I think actually sounds like, where I think the compositions to me sounds most authentically like, oh, this could have been on the Genesis. Like, I don't know, sometimes when I remember this song, I keep mistaking it for Casino Night Zone. Like, I think the vibe is good for this track. Ooh, secret path. Never seen this before. And that was it. Damn, that was short. I guess that was a very... That shortcut probably shaved a lot of time. We didn't make much earnings though. Uh, the city life is too much for me, so let's just touch grass for a moment. Honestly, it's actually kind of fitting that I'm ending this stream at this level. It's like we really went full circle here. A nice bookend, you would say. Ow. Boom, 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 boom. I think it kind of highlights how Sonic 4 Episode 1 doesn't really have much of a difficulty curve, because honestly, this isn't really that much easier or harder than Mad Gear, from what I've played. But yeah, that's about it. And that was Sonic 4 Episode Metal. It exists. Oh, it's that rocket. He was riding it when we first saw him. They gave Metal Sonic so much build up in his own campaign, only for him to die like a wimp at the very end. Alright, well, that was it. uh, so yeah, that's gonna be it for this stream. Thank you so much to anyone that has come by, that dropped by and, you know, chatted with me and stuff. I greatly appreciate it. Let me see who is streaming right now. I'm gonna head to bed soon anyway. It's almost 12 a.m. This stream is shorter um, than last time, so that just goes to show you that Sonic 3 and Knuckles has more content than both episodes of Sonic 4 Episode 2. I'm gonna close the game now. Alright, so who's still streaming? Are they still streaming?
Expensive copy from the GameCube, and then you have to
Oh, Alter's back. Cool. Alright, I'll just raid Alter. Slash raid Alter mentality. Yeah. Cool. Alright, thank you all so much for coming. I greatly appreciate your presence. That's a funny way of putting it. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.